Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am Kurt Roskopf. I am the operator of the World of Ability Podcast Network. And we are coming to you with a big conglomeration and a commencement of business as it is in the media industry. So here I am stepping in for a lady who masquerades around as our podcast assistant. She claims to be a virtual assistant. She claims to be, someone who's a scheduler. And she's deep in an in-person meeting right now. So you are watching reality podcasting because I'm stepping in, pulled out of my other activities because Emily's diving into her activities and our podcast didn't start the way we intended it. This is for pet's sake. So, for pet's sake, we need to look at how we're doing podcasting. And we have the creator of Pet's Sake here, Gregg Boone, who's kind of, you know, taking an artistic fashion to today's show. And he's got an idea he's put together in terms of how today's podcast is, quite timely. So, Greg, you're in here, and we're kind of dancing around the day that Emily is having, and some of that information that Emily didn't make privilege to you, but we're just going to tell the whole world that yes, indeed, Emily's in an in-person appointment, and she kind of fumbled around and arbitrarily became my boss and just dictated me to be host and get you live streaming. We're out on the Ability Network platform right now on YouTube, and the work that Emily is committed to, if we can count on her for it. Greg, if you can work with her to make sure that this is all getting out on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, Clubhouse, X.com, all the platforms. We want to get it out there. And then we want to give a shout out to Nonprofit TV. Emily should be able to take this recording and get it out to there for you. And you and I met through All Stars and Stripes Heroes Connection, that is advertised on alignable.com. And so we do have an event coming up that'll be September. I forget it. Let's see. What is it?
14th,
15th, September
14th,
15th,
14th. I think it's
14th.
14th. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. September 14th. September
Yeah.
14th is going to be a signature event, being coordinated with speaker series and everything within the program. So we're looking forward to that. But let's not, well, we do have our upcoming Monday here that we will be on there as well. So we have the
Mhm.
Monday coming up, and then I believe we're taking, I'm not aware of any Labor Day meeting. And then the Monday after Labor Day, we'll be back with All Stars and Stripes Heroes Connection for business networking. So I want to welcome everybody to that. So here we are at For Pet's Sake Podcast for the fourth Thursday of each month at 3 o'clock Central. And in this work you have with Emily. So Greg, make sure that you do a little follow up from today with Emily to, kind of help this run a little bit more through her. Um, so on and so forth. But we're going to come in at it. The show must go on, and we got you up and running. Hooray. And so let's make sure we get this out onto your Facebook timeline, your LinkedIn feed, if you're using X.com and Clubhouse, whatever. And if you're not using some of these platforms, Greg, let us at the World Ability Podcast Network help you with that. And I believe you're going to be attending a podcast workshop in the hour following this show, right? With
Yep.
Steve
Yep.
Ramona.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah, so you
And
got, and
and
then
when
we want to give a shout out to Nick McGowan. I'm thinking, did you attend one of our, I think you attended with Nick McGowan, right, in one of his workshops?
I did. I did, yes.
Yeah, so he's got his program out there at nickmcgowan.com. That's nickmcgowan.com. So everybody out there can feel free to now the great offering that he's got there is you can go on to his website, put your name and email address in there, and then you will receive a free offering from Nick to kind of be an initial run through on some considerations that he has prepared for new visitors to his work. So very worthwhile stuff there. We keep on going. And so I guess we're going to take a seasonal look at what pets go through in the season. And you've got some ideas, Greg. What is on your mind for
Okay.
pet's sake?
Sure. Well, welcome back. Thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Greg Boone. You're listening to For Pet's Sake, where we talk all things pets. Today, we are going to talk about the weather. It's a hot one out there today. Um, so make sure that you help your pet stay hydrated. Make sure your pet has plenty of fresh water. Make sure to clean their bowls every day because after a while you get a little thin layer of biofilm on there. And I know dogs do not like the smell of it. It's yeah, it needs to be washed out with soap and dried and then filled back with clean fresh water. So that's one way to help your pets stay cool this summer. And also avoid walking your pet or running your pet during the hot part of the day. And maybe take a bottle of water um, and something for them to drink out of. I see, I constantly see people walking their dog and their tongue is hanging out, the dog's tongue that is, hanging out and just they're thirsty, they're hot, and just keep them hydrated while you're out and everything. And maybe go for your walks during the evening or early morning would probably be the best times to do that. So, another thing, maybe if you could create some type of shading um, rest where they can lay down, cool off, whether it be at your house or in the barn or wherever that is. If they're outside, just do a little makeshift something you know, to provide some shade. Maybe even under a tree would be a pretty good place. Um, Another way is you can also get some damp towels and uh, lay out there for them to lay on, and that'd help just a little bit. Um, and why not let them go for a swim? Take them out to the lake, let them jump in the lake, or take them swimming with you. Um, you know, um, keep their hair groomed. There's a lot of dogs that grow thick, heavy fur, and I know that's got to be very uncomfortable. I mean, could you imagine walking around outside with a coat on? That's basically what they're doing. So just keep them groomed, trimmed, whether you do that yourself or take them to a groomer. Um, just keep them comfortable and everything. Um, and then watch for signs of heat stroke, you know. Like especially if you're out there walking them and you know, they're panting and everything. Um, and a lot of times I've seen dogs where their owners have them and they don't have them on a leash, but their owner's like way ahead and they're resting up, taking a break, and then real fast just getting up and catching back up to them, only to take another break again. So that's just, just be mindful of that. That's all I got to say about that. So, Kurt, you got anything to add to that or?
Um, you know, yeah, I mean, the other part of it is, in our houses, obviously if you're running air conditioning, that takes care of things that way. But
Right.
otherwise, I mean, the thing to consider is your pet with their fur, um, your comfortability. Like I'm wearing a t-shirt here and, it looks like you're wearing a lighter shirt too. T-shirts. So, our ability to be cool, um, we can tolerate temperatures a little higher before we feel the exhaustion that, the pets with their fur that's warmth that they don't need. And, so if you're not running air conditioning to, open windows and, get fans running and, um, depending on, what you all got around, sometimes, you can go with holding a piece of ice, and you hold it so that they don't get it because you don't want that dog to, kind of get that ice cube lodged in their throat. But if you can hold it in a way that they can lick away at it and get that nice cool, cooling of their tongue, you can do different things like that. And I've done stuff. It doesn't seem like my dog appreciates it, but when I was worried about how hot she was getting, I'd actually take ice and like work it into her fur and whatever. And it seemed like as soon as that coldness reached her skin, it was kind of like, yeah, no thanks. There's different things we can do, and depending on how you're set up and what you can do as far as wet fur, you can. Kind of take a hose with a sprinkler nozzle and, you know, a lot of times dogs don't like that being sprayed at. Sometimes that's a good way to penalize them. So you got to be a little careful and make sure it's received as playful. So maybe a little bit more coming up from the top and coming down like rain,
Yeah.
type of thing. There's all different tricks that we can deploy to help the pets during the warmer summer. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
Uh,
Um,
And I think one thing that's counterintuitive is you would think the warmth of our hands would not be desired by them, but I do feel that petting your pet, doing a little of that, is helpful. I mean, obviously, if they get all snuggled up with you and whatever, then they're getting warm again. But if they're just kind of in their own space and then your hands petting them, I think that's akin to sometimes it feels good to run your fingers through your hair when you're hot, and I think it's the same for them. That feels good if we were, or like you were talking about grooming them, brushing them, that type of thing, anything like that, I think is good for the cause, helping our pets keep their cool. Yeah.
yeah. And even just petting them itself, provides a little bit of comfort, makes them feel good and appreciated, I would think.
Yeah, and then if there's something where you're going out to a park setting or something where there's likely extended time in the warm sun, you can consider, well, with what the event is and what the arrangement is at these spaces, you can think of these pop-up tents or whatever that
Mhm.
it's got the four poles and it's just got the cover and it throws a little shade, something like that,
Yeah.
or even taking an umbrella, something you don't
Hmm.
think about when it's sunshine. Take an
Yeah.
umbrella and then maybe for yourself and the dog next to you, then
Right.
you kind of have some carry with you shade,
There you go.
that type
Yeah.
of thing.
That would work. Mhm. Yeah. So, um,
Yeah. So do you have any kind of any experience with dogs experiencing heat exhaustion? Like, do you have that idea in terms of what happens to a dog that all of a sudden it's like, whoa, maybe they need to see a veterinarian? Any experience with it?
well, not any personal experience. with that, I've always tried to keep my dogs nice and cool. Um, Always had good amount of shade where I kept them. They was under a nice big tree and in their pen and everything, and always made sure they had plenty of water and food. Um, and I didn't walk them out in the heat of the day. Back, oh gosh, years and years ago, I had a black lab and a English pointer, and well, that black lab, he would get hot and everything. So I would always load him up and take him out to the lake and let him go swim out there in the lake. He loved it, and that's one thing I did to help him stay cool. But I think if your dog is if you got him, say if you're out for a walk or just anywhere and he's panting and he is just, having a hard time just trying to stay cool, um, that would probably be a sign that maybe he needs to go in and see a vet. Yeah,
Yeah, so basically what I did here is I went into Google and I put in a little search term here. What are the signs and symptoms of heat exhaustion for
mhm,
pets? Main signs of heat exhaustion in pets include excessive panting, heavy
mhm,
drooling, and unusual tiredness or weakness. So
mhm,
excessive panting, heavy, fast, noisy breathing that does not slow down.
mhm,
Um, Thick, sticky, unusual, large amounts of saliva, stumbling, lack of coordination, or an unwillingness to get up and walk, gums and tongue turning bright red, pale, or bluish, vomiting or diarrhea, upset stomach, sometimes containing small amounts of blood. A reading over 103, 105, or 104, 103, 104 for high body temperature. And then just the behavior, seeing mental changes, giving us signs of confusion, dizziness, and responsiveness. That then you really get concerned with the unresponsiveness. Move your pet to air conditioned room or shaded breezy spot. Offer small amounts of cool drinking water. So the other thing I want to do real quickly here is I want to get onto our More Mito site, moremito.com, and I've got an affiliate connection into this with Gregg here. And then for our show, there's people health products, but then there's pet health products. So you come into here and you can see what we got with the restore and rejuvenate. Um, I'm not seeing when we refer to these products, there's a branding, Pet Life. There it is. That's what I was looking for, the Pet Life brand. Um, so
click right there where it says please, right above the bottles. There you
see
go.
Ultramito Pet Life 2.0, and so on and so forth. So yeah, there's products to be had here that help the pets. But with that, Greg, any last words? I've just got about a couple minutes. I've got a
Oh, sure.
follow-up call with Nick McGowan, so I need to be
Okay.
wrapped up here in
Sure.
about 100 seconds. So any last thoughts you have before we end for today?
Well, I'd like to say thank everyone for joining us today. We appreciate it. And catch us on our next show coming up um, fourth Thursday of next month. So thank you.
So I have it down for September 24th. September 24th at 3 p.m.
Yep.
Will be the next For Pet's Sake show. And hopefully, Greg, you'll have a guest to interview. That'd be
Yes,
kind of nice,
that would be.
with this big event on, September 14th.
Mhm.
Hopefully that you'll have enough leads there to bring somebody in here for pet's sake.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So, and if someone wants to be a guest on your show, how do they become a guest? How do they communicate with you to do that?
Just ask me, and I can help you with the time and day and when I can get you on. So say if I had somebody booked for next month, then I could possibly book you for the next month.
Okay, and if you want any help from the network side of things with this show, you can always contact me, Kurt, at spiritofthegame.org. And then my phone number on Google Voice is 262-372-1754. And all that means is you can send me text, give me a call anytime. And then I do also have a WhatsApp line. If you want to hit me up on WhatsApp, that's +1 414 0186. 414-514-0186 on WhatsApp and +1 for the USA area code, or country code, I should say. So with that, that wraps it up for today. We'll see you next time on For Pet's Sake. Thank you for tuning in, and please share this show, share the YouTube and all the places you see it on our social media and all our communications. Please enter it in, and let's build a nice pet community right here at For Pet's Sake. Thanks, everybody. Bye for now.
5-1. That actually went really good.
You're dead. There we go.